Hello, and welcome back to It's Your Move, where we talk about all things real estate, including where I work and live in Galveston, Texas, where it's currently raining, but much cooler than it has been all summer. So thankfully, we have this rain and this cooler weather coming in. Anyway, today let's talk about living in a small home, maybe a small space, a small apartment with a small yard. Because when everything's small, it can feel confined. Things can feel cluttered easily. Or maybe you're moving from a larger home to a smaller home and you can't really figure out how to make everything fit to where you're comfortable in the space. So, living in a small home can be challenging, um, especially when it comes to decorating or arranging your furniture. However, there are quite a few techniques that you can use to maximize your space, make it feel, maybe give the illusion of more space. So let's look at those things. The first thing is to use light colors. Using light colors on the walls, ceiling, and the floors can create an illusion of a larger space, and light colors will also reflect the light and make the room appear to be brighter and more open because using the whites, pastel colors, the cream colors, that'll all give that illusion of a bigger space. And, you won't feel so confined. You can also use natural lighting, maximize the natural lighting. Open up those shades and let the natural light in. Natural light makes a room feel more open and more spacious. So take those heavy curtains off, replace those with some sheers or something else that will let more light in, and then you won't feel so confined in the space. You can also add a mirror or two to reflect some of that light, which will give it the appearance, the illusion of more space by making it brighter and just making it look like there's, more space in there. You can also use, and this is probably a really good idea, using multifunctional furniture, especially if you're moving from a larger to a smaller place, because now maybe all of your furniture doesn't fit. So the things you have in that space, it's important that they serve multiple purposes because you can get more bang for your buck that way, right? So, for example, a sofa bed can serve as a couch during the day and a bed at night. A storage ottoman can also serve as both seating and storage, and sometimes decor, depending on what kind you choose. So choose furniture that's going to be versatile and can be easily moved around the room as needed. So I really like the ottoman because it's a footrest and a seat and storage. So I have quite a few of those in my house. You can think about using or creating vertical storage. Maximizing vertical storage space is key when it comes to a small room, to make it look bigger because you've got to use all the space, even the space that goes up. So use those tall bookcases, built-in shelves, or cabinets to create that vertical storage. Get some things maybe off the floor or out of the way, or just use it as a decor. I mean, when you have built-in shelves or a place to showcase your things, that's actually adding to your decor. So this frees up the floor space and draws the eye upward, which makes the room seem taller, right? How about keeping the clutter to a minimum? Decluttering is essential. Keep it, so just have the things that you need, the essentials. A cluttered room can feel cramped and small, and keeping the clutter to a minimum by organizing and decluttering regularly is essential in this case. Use baskets or bins or even boxes to store up things and put them out of sight, or even store them inside if they're nice decorative baskets or bins that might be part of your decor, but you can keep things kind of out of the way. When there's less clutter in the room, you'll feel less confined, and everything's going to feel comfortable and more spacious. And we can choose furniture wisely, as we just discussed, using um, furniture that is either serves multi-purpose or that just isn't feel heavy. You don't want things that feel heavy and kind of confined in the space. So choose pieces that are appropriately sized for the space. Don't try to make your old furniture fit into the new one. That doesn't always work. Avoid those bulky and oversized furniture pieces that can make the room feel cramped. Maybe opt for furniture that has legs instead of pieces that sit directly on the floor, because this creates that illusion of more space, you know, bringing things up and higher a little bit more. And as I said before, using the mirrors. Mirrors are an effective way to make the room appear larger that reflects that natural light. Hang the large mirror on the wall and create a gallery of smaller mirrors to reflect the light and create that illusion of more space. So hang in multiple mirrors for your decor and for the illusion of it feeling like there's more space. So that's how we get around that. So there's, as you can see, there's quite a few techniques to help your space feel larger, maybe more open, because some people don't like to feel cramped. And having that natural light, those mirrors, that multifunctional furniture is very important. Now, along with the small space, you may have a small backyard because normally you don't have a small home with a huge yard. So let's talk about how to address the small yard while we're at it. It can be a challenge, but with a little creativity and effort, you can take your small outdoor space and make it beautiful, functional, and maybe even your little oasis. So let's talk about planning and prioritizing. Before you start any backyard project, you know you have to take the time to plan and prioritize what you want to do in the outdoor space. So you're going to start by making a list of what you want to do and what you want actually in the yard, right? Consider the size of your yard and how much space you'll have to work with and determine the best use of space, such as, do you want a dining area? Should it be a lounge or should it be a garden? I mean, it depends on what your space looks like and what you want it to look like. So once you have a clear idea in your mind of what you want, you can then start to plan and execute your backyard makeover. The next thing you're going to do is, just like indoors, you want to maximize that vertical space. In a small backyard, vertical space is your friend. Use those trellises, the hanging baskets, and the wall-mounted planters to add that greenery and color to your space without taking up the valuable floor space. The large planters on the deck or on the floor look nice. They're really nice. But if you want a dining area and you don't have enough room for both, you're going to have to hang those plants. And that's a good option, a good trade-off, right? So then you can still have your dining or your barbecuing area. Just think about those things. You're going to want to incorporate seating. In a small backyard, every inch counts. So consider using built-in benches or seating that can be tucked away when not in use. Also, if you are using some kind of benches or things like that, if you can't tuck them away for other times and get them out of the way, use the kind that open up and have storage so that you can tuck away your cushions or the toys, the yard games, whatever, and you can tuck those away and that saves you space. You can use folding chairs and tables as another option so that you can tuck those away, put them in the garage, or be easily stored somewhere else when they're not in use. You also might want to consider adding a focal point, because a focal point, such as a water feature or a sculpture or a fire pit, can create a point of interest in the small backyard. And this will draw the eye to that feature and give it a create illusion of more space. People won't be thinking about, golly, this is kind of confined or it's not very big. They'll be interested. It draws their interest and gives them something else to focus on besides maybe the perimeter or the enclosures. You also want to use the light colors in the backyard, just like indoors, because it reflects the light and makes it feel larger. Don't forget about that. Consider using light colored furniture or cushions and the accessories as well that will make your small yard feel bigger. You can also create zones. Creating separate zones in your small backyard can help make the place feel bigger, more spacious, and more functional. Divide your space into different areas such as a dining area, the lounge area, and the garden. This is going to create the illusion of more space and make your backyard feel more inviting. And don't forget to maybe make a space for the kids if you have kids, or your pets. If you can have a designated area for your pets to do their thing and play or whatever, they'll appreciate that. And finally, you can utilize lighting. There's already a bunch of natural light when you're outside, but what about in the evening? Or what about task lighting or just decorative lighting? Lighting can play a big role in a small yard. It makes it feel more inviting. Consider using string lights and lanterns or solar-powered lights to create a warm and inviting atmosphere. Lighting can also draw the eye to the illusion, to give you that illusion of more space. Maybe put some extra lighting around, whatever your feature is, or your dining area, your lounge area, especially because if that's where people are hanging out and everything, Maybe even around your focal point, put some extra maybe spotlights, solar powered little spotlights to make that feature stand out even more. So, living in a small indoor space or having a small backyard, it doesn't have to be limited just by the space that's there. Use your imagination, be creative, use those light colors, use that vertical space, and by using all these tips, you can have a beautiful and function indoor and outdoor space regardless of the size. So that's all I have for today. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Remember, it's your move.